All right. Welcome, everybody. We're at our August 27th, 2024 Office of the Police Ombuds Commission meeting. And I want to welcome everyone. It's nice to see you all again. We got a new commissioner that will be introducing, and we have a newer commissioner, which is, what number is this? Is this
I've been in the position, third month?
It's the
Fourth?
third meeting. Yep.
It's my third meeting, but we missed a month. So.
Yeah. Well, there we go. All right. Well, I'll turn it over to the agenda and the minutes approval. I love how our reports look. Shout out to, is that you? Is that you?
It's a team effort.
It's a team effort? All right. Nice job.
I make a motion that we approve the meeting agenda for this evening.
I'll second.
All right. There is a motion and a second. All those approve, say aye.
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 All right, that passes. Okay, looking at the minutes here, so we have May 21st. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the May 21st, 2024 meeting.
Okay, we have a second. Amy, that'd have to come from you.
I'm on what?
That would have to come from you, the second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, second. Absolutely.
All right. And all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to sustain because I was not here.
Okay, we have
Likewise.
2 abstentions, and it passes. Okay, so we approved the agenda and the minutes. Do we have anyone signed up for public forum?
No.
Okay, all right. We're going to move to you, Louis May. Blow us away with the May, June, and July monthly reports.
I will do my best. Good evening, commissioners. I have 3 reports before you today, and I'm not going to go into the details of all of them, but just kind of highlight some numbers. So a bulk of our contacts happened in the last 3 months, 603 of them of the total 1327. So summer was very busy. I think a big contributor to that was the police selection forum. We made a lot of contacts in that event. We sent 4 commendations to the police department of the 5 total we've sent this year.
May I ask what page are you on? I'm not,
So I'm just doing like
Oh,
a
okay, all
summary
right.
of all of
Thank
them. Yeah. And then as for complaints, we submitted 14 of the 33 total of the year in the last 3 months. We provided oversight of 28 of 61 IA interviews and attended review boards, 7 of them in the last 3 months. And then we reviewed 63 special cases out of 130 total. So those are just like the numbers that we report every month, but I kind of took a 3-month look at them. As far as activities, in the last 3 months, in June, Bart and I attended the Washington State Human Rights Commission event to meet the new commissioner. And we also got to have really good Haitian food, I believe. So that was really good. Got to mix a little work with pleasure as long as there's good food. Bart was very active and engaged in the police chief selection committee. And as you know now, we've selected our police chief. He was sworn in yesterday. And just as an update to you all, Bart invited him to speak with the commission. And so he'll be here next month to speak with you all. The office also attended mock scenes out at the police academy, and then Bart and I did our ride-alongs for the year in June, I believe. So usually we do those towards the end of the year, but I wanted to not have to worry about snow and ice, so I thought I'd get them done early in the year. As far as training, Bart does WSCJTC trainings regularly. He's actually away now at I believe it's a decertification hearing that's going on this week and maybe next week. So that's why you just have me today. So he's doing that. I attended a labor law and arbitration conference in San Francisco at the beginning of August. And then when I got back, I actually attended an online training on technology and policing. Specifically, I was interested in the drone section because we did do a research project for the city administrator, the deputy city administrator on the use of drones. And so I just kind of wanted to know in the policing field in general, what are some things to look out for, things to be concerned about. You have a question?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, can you share some, like, 3 quick bullets about that?
Yeah, so drones specifically, I think that a lot of agencies are looking to move towards drones because they help with less uses of force, like it'll help to de-escalate situations. They can send a drone to respond faster than a police vehicle can get to a scene, so it can help lay out what the scenario is rather than just information they receive from a caller, let's say. There's a department, and it's Chula Vista down in the San Diego area, and they're the leading department in drone use. And so Bart and I will be in the Oceanside, San Diego area in November for the Ombudsman Conference. And so we're hoping to meet up with their program coordinators just to see like what we can implement here in Spokane. Basically, the drone program is very regulated by the FAA because of airspace use. And the FAA, as a policy choice, wants to move towards allowing more use of drones, especially for public agencies. And so they're in the process of loosening the regulations, but as it stands, you have to get a waiver for everything. And if you don't have like the standard waiver that allows you to lose sight of the drone, because most agencies, you have to have a visual line of sight with it. And so that's a little bit restrictive on how far, how high the drone can go. And so our department has a program up and running. And then just as far as potential issues, one that I thought was interesting is there is a bill in Congress that may potentially prohibit the use of a brand that's popular in law enforcement because it's a Chinese brand. And so that may be an issue since I believe our department uses that brand of drones. So those are just off the top of my head, the things that I remember on that
Yeah, I
section.
appreciate that.
Yeah, so I went to that, and then, yeah, those are our activities.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Oh, apologies. So, like, are there reports written about the drone use that they have here?
I believe there are internal tracking, but I don't know about reporting and what's available to the public.
Yeah, I'm just well, not to the public. The reason I was asking was more just I was like thinking about like why they were specifically being used if you can only send them away as far as you can see them.
So it depends with your waiver and your agency, but in Spokane, I'm not sure about the specific usage, but I know that they're brought out to assist on certain calls. And it's up to the individuals in that unit to determine if they want to deploy or not. So other units can send in requests.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So I have a short question. Is Mr. Logue is at a decertification hearing
I believe so,
for the
yes.
Washington Regulatory Agency for
The
Police Officers?
Criminal Justice Training Commission.
Does that involve a Spokane police officer?
No, so he will recuse himself when there's a Spokane officer involved.
Okay, thanks.
And then the last thing I wanted to update you all on is our name change that we have begun implementing, but we are working to have it officially changed by ordinance. So there's a first reading that's happening on August 26th, a final reading on September 9th, and the change should go into effect October 9th. The mayor is also supposed to sign an ordinance, and I have a meeting with Maggie Yates tomorrow to see kind of where we are on that. But that's kind of the reason why we've pushed back our presentation to City Council. We were advised to hold off until that name change is official.
I mean, considering that we have the logo on most things, is it safe to assume that there is enough support?
Yeah, so we've talked with various members of council, and we've gotten some questions, but generally, I'd say most people are supportive. And that issue has come up of, hey, we already kind of did a new logo and are putting it on all our materials. And Councilmember Dillon, who's the head of public safety, he said that he didn't think it was an issue. So we're moving forward with it. So the last thing on that is that our new presentation date to City Council for our annual reports will be on September 23rd at 6 p.m. here, right? Yeah, here in this room.
So, given that this is, I don't know, several months past what we were anticipating, did any of the information that we had in there, I mean, is it going to land different? Should we look at the wording again?
So what I typically do, because I usually pull the data in March, and the police department is still pending some review of those cases, so I'll put like a note saying this is accurate up to this date. That way we're not going back and changing everything.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like in the next year, we'll just do an update.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay.
Okay, moving along. So you also have two closing reports with you that we wrote for this meeting. The first one was A23047. And I'm just going to give a brief review of the facts so that we can give some context to our recommendations. So in this case, we had 5 recommendations. In this case, there was a collision between 3 SPD officers. There were 2 in one car and 1 in the second vehicle. The driver of the first vehicle was a reserve officer who was directed by their mentor, who is the second person in that car, to, sorry, I totally skipped why we're chasing someone. So officers were responding to a sheriff's office call for mutual aid because there was an officer-involved shooting at Longhorn Barbecue out in Airway Heights. And so when the officers heard this, they got on the freeway to try to assist. But while they were on the freeway, the first car was listening to county radio, and they heard that the suspect was running away, driving towards them. And the driving officer received the direction that they should,
Keep going. My fault. It's us.
oh no, it's just cutting in and out, so I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if it's picking up. So the reserve officer was given the direction to make a U-turn on I-90, traveling about 100 miles an hour to pursue the suspect who was oncoming. And then there was the third officer who was in the second vehicle was listening to city radio and didn't get any of these updates of what was happening. And then while the first vehicle was attempting to pull over to make the U-turn, they struck the second vehicle. And the reason that our recommendations in this case are geared a lot towards training is because the comments that I heard in the review of this case, reading the case file as well as attending the Collision and Pursuit Review Board, is that pursuits are low frequency and high stress, and it's difficult to train, and folks are concerned that officers are sent out on the street unprepared to get into a vehicle pursuit. And so looking for recommendations, we really wanted to focus on, well, how can we train officers? Because we don't want to send our officers out unprepared for something that could be potentially fatal for them and for the community. So our recommendations pertain to training such as adopting a critical decision-making model, basically some sort of schema as you're en route to process this information, and what choice is the best choice to make given the circumstances. Provide regular training, which CJTC already requires, so just kind of with competing interests that the department has on what they should train, that this is something that they can't lose focus on because it is important. And then a simulator is something that I think would be really good for simulating that stress in the officer for being in pursuit, but we understand that with the city's current financial situation that perhaps that's not feasible, but finding ways to get that type of training. And we've since talked with Acting Chief McNabb on this recommendation, and he's very interested in having some type of training.
Where is the closest one?
So there's like I think it's like a mobile simulator that the state has, and so Director McConnell said she was trying to track down where it is and if they could bring it to Spokane.
Do we have an idea of how much that mobile?
I didn't get into those details with her, but if the state has it, maybe they'll just lend it out to the department.
Do you know, oh, I'm sorry, are you done? But was there any data offered as to how frequent or infrequent high-speed chases are in Spokane?
So what our best data is the number of pursuits, and Spokane has quite a restrictive policy, and with the changes in the legislature, our department's policy is pretty much unaffected because it was so much stricter than the state. So the officers don't get to go on many pursuits. I think I mentioned it in the report. I think there were 12 in 2023. Which is a fairly low number compared to previous years.
Do you anticipate that that will go up with the change in the?
So our
In the law?
policy is still quite restrictive, so I expect that the number of pursuits will remain similar.
So, oh, did you have a question?
I was just going to say, this particular pursuit was with the sheriff's department. I don't know offhand if you know, how often does that happen? I'm thinking it doesn't happen very often, but I have no idea when they're asking assistance from the SPD on a pursuit.
I would say it's, from what I can recall, it's probably happened once one other time in the last year, so not very
No,
frequent.
not very
And if
frequent.
it does happen, it probably happens without any incident, so I wouldn't hear about it.
Or going on I-90. So-
But how does that work? Do they send a bill? Does the city police send a bill, or is it more like, hey, this is?
I'm not sure how that part works.
Well, the other wondering I have too is Washington State Patrol would seem to be more highly trained on these kinds of pursuits. Wondering if the Spokane County Sheriff's Department could have contacted WSP instead of SPD.
I think it goes out on the radio, so it's more of a proximity thing. I could be
Who's
wrong,
available?
but
Okay.
yeah,
That makes
whoever's
sense.
available and nearby.
So then who's paying for the damages?
I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, is it just a rule that we're like, hey,
Spokane is.
Yeah.
okay, so we are. That seems odd to me.
The city of Spokane pays for
Tim's
it all.
gonna add in.
Yeah, that would come under the city's risk management, where when there's damage, that we would make, our risk management company would make a claim on any policy that the driver may have, whoever owns the vehicle that causes the damage.
Which affects our premiums, right? As a
No.
city?
No,
No?
no, we were damaged. It wasn't our fault. Like if you get in it, if you
Yeah.
get rear-ended
Right.
and you contact the insurance company, your rates won't go up.
Okay.
So,
Can I make a comment? So I actually took some notes when I read the reports because basically they were really complicated to read. And they're like A, B, C, D, G. I can't even say all the letters. I mean, there were so many, right? So it took me a minute to read them, basically. So I kind of cheated and I wrote some notes and I wrote some questions. First, I do want to say I'm super, super glad that no officers were hurt in this situation. I think also that the problem of the radios is a big deal. For the officer's safety, like to have them on the same channel seems really important. And then also, it's important for civilian safety because if they would have U-turned into a family, I mean, the city would just be sued their butts off, basically. Excuse my language, but and so like I feel like the training thing that was described in the report, that with the clicker that basically, has the officers click when they would stop a pursuit or click when they would whatever, that felt like a really worthy investment for our city just in order to avoid future lawsuits, because it seems like these officers are in these situations so rarely. They're so dangerous and they're dynamic, like they happen so fast. And so officers should have that training, I feel like. They deserve that. But I do have a question about the authorization of pursuits and the reports. Like, it seems like the reports that are not written by that officer, by the officer, somebody else wrote the report other than the officer who authorized it. And that felt like, I feel like any authorizing person that's like in those high, crazy situations, they would have the best firsthand knowledge to write a report like that. And so do you know if there's any, do you know anything about that or?
So usually It's the supervisor, or the officer's direct supervisor is usually the one who authorizes the pursuit. And as part, if there's a pursuit, a collision, they usually will have to write a review of the incident in a supervisor review. So that's usually handled. I think in this case, it was an unusual circumstance because it was not the direct supervisor. And then I think in the report, we talk about last year, we looked at the total number, and most of them were, there was a report that was written on it. It just was a couple that were not.
Yeah, I would say that that would be an important thing. It's because of the like seriousness of those situations, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was what I had. Thank you.
And then I wanted
I cheated because I was like, this is too hard. I have to take notes.
I wanted to respond to the training component as
Yeah.
well. So that actually is our last recommendation, to do department-wide training. They did do a debrief training for the team that was involved. And so we recommended that it be a department-wide to include more than just officers, but even folks in dispatch and anyone who plays a role in this type of situation. And I believe that the department has used it as a department-wide training in service already.
Good, good.
Sorry, no. Any more questions?
Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you. I mean, are you gonna go through all the recommendations, or did I just do,
That was it.
okay. Now, you didn't have more?
Not for that case.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, those were the thoughts that I had on that case. Sorry.
So then the next case we have is C-23070, and we had 4 recommendations in that case. Initially, this started out as a prohibited speech complaint. A city employee made the complaint with Internal Affairs when they were at City Fleet, and they observed that the officer had a sticker on the back of their vehicle that said, "Let's go Brandon." The complainant confronted the officer regarding the political nature of the sticker on a department-issued vehicle, and the officer said that the sticker was in support of their nephew, Brandon. And then the complainant said the officer was proud of the sticker. So that's what it started out as. But as the investigation progressed, there were additional issues that arose, 3 additional issues. The first one is false and misleading statements, whether the sticker was in fact in support of a officer's son, and whether that officer had knowledge of the political nature of the sticker. The second is supervisor actions after learning about the sticker. IA did a review of body-worn camera that resulted in reviews with 7 additional officers of note. One was a supervisor who had knowledge of this sticker, but they were also a IA investigator at the time, actively participating in interviews, but they didn't disclose that they knew information until it came up in an interview that they knew about this information. And then the third issue is discussing ongoing internal affairs investigations. So the officer accused had a discussion with their patrol team, and in the ARP, so it's the group that reviews IA's investigation, in their review, they were unclear about what was said in that discussion with the patrol team, and so they didn't think that, or there was conflicting information. But then a review of the applicable, like, notice that the officer receives when they have to come into IA, like what they can and cannot say to people in the department, outside the department, about the investigation. There was some conflict in that document and SPD's policy, and so our recommendations stem from updating the rights and responsibility form to remove conflicting statements. And then we had a couple recommendations geared towards IA. They have a checklist of things they have to do for each case, make sure there's no conflict. Looking at that checklist, even if they had filled out a form for this case, it would not have asked the question of, do you have knowledge or material information that would cause a conflict of interest? I don't remember the specifics, but it was something like, is there a money conflict or not? It wouldn't have caught this issue. And so we are asking that IA update their checklist. And then there is a SOP that they have, so we'd like them to update that as well. And then this is kind of a not so obvious issue to the facts of the case, but the supervisor failure to supervise, I believe, is the policy that supervisors were alleged to have violated. And one of the things that we thought was this could also be a duty to intervene issue. Like if you have knowledge of misconduct, alleged misconduct, you should report it to IA. And it's not a, well, we went with the the supervisor's failure to supervise, that's what it's called. We went with that one, so we're not gonna go with duty to intervene. So we were looking at that policy and we noticed that duty to intervene is only in the use of force policy, but the way that it's been used in the past is not exclusive to use of force. So our first recommendation is to move it out to be its own policy, not just part of use of force. And it would look weird if someone had a duty to intervene allegation, but it looks like it's a use of force allegation since it's in that policy. So those are our recommendations. Happy to try to answer questions.
I can go first this time with my notes since they're right here. Let's see. So, well, first of all, if there's a name like Stickergate, it obviously, there's been like a whisper campaign going around and people aren't following department policy. And that's obviously problematic, you know. What about, you know, this November? How will these involved officers treat people in the community who are visually showing political dissent from what they believe? You know, it feels like a little bit like trust is why basically we don't put political stickers on police vehicles. It's trust for the community to know that all of the community, not half of the community, is covered, you know? And then the other thing that I did notice that was really troubling to me was that it was a full 2 months, and that seems way too long. The officers know each other pretty well. I'm sure people saw it. Like, that's way too long for that to have gone on, I feel like. And no jobs allow you to put stickers on political stickers on your vehicle. And so that really, to me, it feels like a breakdown in police culture. Like supervisors were not reporting, people were not doing the obvious thing. I mean, it's common sense that you don't do that. Even if you're trying to use a decoy kind of situation, you wouldn't use a political sticker unless, I mean, that seems either basically like a lack of common sense or a lack of respect. Either or both, maybe even. I don't know. That was troubling. But I did, and the other thing is that, like, if this is a rule for everyone, why isn't this a rule for the Spokane Police Department? And that speaks to culture. And that concerns me a little bit about this, a lot, not a little bit, a lot. But I do have one technical question on this as well about the interview process. Was Officer C interviewed? And if they were, shouldn't they be Officer B? Or did I just get confused because too many officers were involved in this case?
I don't remember off the top of my head who Officer C was. Is this the person who authorized the pursuit?
No, this was the person, Brandon's dad.
Oh,
Maybe.
yeah, they were not interviewed. They didn't have anything to do with the case, so they were not interviewed.
Okay, thank you.
Well, what I was going to say is private businesses can put whatever stickers they want. I know we've driven by businesses and they can put whatever political stickers they want. But we know that a government entity, like school teachers, like school personnel, what we've been taught over the years, and I know the Spokane Police Department is the same way, is that you cannot have any personal political stickers on your company vehicles, that would be their police cars, or within your space that you have where you work. I mean, that's just a given. This just seems like a little bitty thing in a big pond. I mean, for it to go on as long as it did. And your questions are good. And I just think that, if I look over, I know what he's going to say is, they've had this training. They know what politically they can do or they cannot do. I mean, it's a given. You're working for the government, you're working for the state or the city. You cannot display anything. Very creative that his son was named Brandon. Okay, I'm not going to go there. I actually kind of find it humorous, which I probably shouldn't. But it just, yeah. I just appreciate all the work you guys have done to delve into this and figure this out this is my 9th year. It's confusing, some of what goes on, but it's still very interesting. So thank you.
No, the sticker gate, I think that's, this is not a good look. It's just not a good look. If I was, and I'm not, if I was in the police force and I saw this and I think about all the hard work, all the time, all the energy I've put to build back relations with the community, and this happens within my team, it's just this demoralizing. The police have done so much work, so I don't know. I'm curious how other folks, and I know that's not part of this, but I am curious about how other officers, feel. And, it might be good for that officer to maybe be mandated to spend some time with some community organizations, because it just seems like there's just a lack of understanding of, oh, okay, never mind. Well.
I do want to chime in real fast, or you want to interject for a second?
He's not an officer anymore.
Well, that's good. That's good to know.
Okay. This is a tough one. That this culture of protecting an officer when you know that that officer is doing wrong and it's over a period of time, it's a pernicious way of infesting the culture of a police department. And I know we all know that. Some will say, oh, it's always just the 1 or 2 apples. In this case, there's a dozen apples. And each of the dozen apples has a little decay, a little bit of rottenness to it. Some not as bad, some are pretty bad. The lying is is a really hard one to digest, and I'm glad that this person, Officer A, is gone. And I do want to compliment IA for, as I read through the weeds of this, a lot of time was taken, a lot of analysis of body-worn camera was used to come to these determinations. And so I appreciate that the diligence was there, but this high school behavior among some of the officers, like tee-hee-hee, you know, so-and-so knows about this sticker on my car and they think it's pretty funny, and then turn around and lie that it's Officer C's nephew who this sticker is representing. It just, and then finally, just the poor citizens who had that officer arrive at their door or wherever they were seeking help, and to see that, I just can't imagine what that person or people felt. That lack of trust and maybe even frightened, thinking this is who I'm calling, as somebody who has that kind of disrespect towards our President of the United States. That officer clearly was dismissive and clueless, and really happy to know that the time was spent to get to the bottom of it and not whitewash it, and so I'll stop there.
Commissioner Wetzel, do you have any comments?
Well, I guess I was just, I was wondering whether the prohibition of this kind of statement or exhibition of opinion extends to social media communication from Spokane police officers.
So that's an issue that going to police training nationwide, it does extend, but I think those departments have had scandals or are closely related, so they're more pressed to have proactive policies. I don't think we've had, at least that I'm aware of, that type of issue here. So our policies are not as proactive, let's say, with the use of social media.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Any other comments from commissioners? No? Oh, Detective Duncan.
I did want to comment on the closing reports. I appreciate the closing report on Stickergate. It's embarrassing, and it makes me all kinds of frustrated and mad, but I'm glad that your ombuds chose to do a closing report on that one. And yes, that officer no longer works for the city of Spokane as the result of this. So, very good recommendations. Mr. Wetzel, I'm Dave Duncan. I'm the president of the Spokane Police Guild, so
Nice meeting you.
you know who I am. Yeah, when I first learned of this issue, extremely angry and frustrated that nobody grabbed him by the neck and scraped that sticker off that car. And I'm not going to make excuses for anybody. I'm not trying to diminish anything. You've all made excellent points. For me, it was extremely disappointing because I think it showed just kind of the low morale and kind of the apathy that was there. I think people saw that sticker and they were like, you know, they knew who that guy was. They knew what his political beliefs were. And I don't know that anybody was super interested in looking out for him, unfortunately, because this could have all been avoided. But yes, it frustrates me to no end that the other officer didn't see that and just instead they turned and looked the other way and ignored it and didn't take action. So it was disappointing. The recommendations, as always, excellent. I really appreciate looking into the conflict in internal affairs. That was frustrating for us. That fortunately the internal affairs sergeant that had this case is not the one that had the conflict, and he's the one that, I can't remember who just mentioned what really good, Mr. Smith, it was you, that really good work he did, and he did on this case. But it was the other sergeant who ended up being one of these supervisors that did not take action, and it was disappointing that he sat through several interviews, and I had to force the issue with internal affairs that was inappropriate. In the end, if we just look at the outcome, if we're outcome-based results, which is not the appropriate way to do things, the outcome was correct. That officer doesn't work here anymore. The supervisors that didn't take action were disciplined appropriately. But it kind of shows that avenue for a double standard. I kind of likened it to, well, the two witness officers that got called in that were just witnesses, both of them were concerned about being interviewed in internal affairs because they knew that one of the internal affairs sergeants had seen the sticker and not done anything. And they were extremely nervous about saying that if it came up, and they expressed concern for retribution. There wasn't any. I wasn't concerned for retribution, but it shows that we have that flaw in the system, which is pretty unacceptable. So excellent recommendation on that. I don't know if that was Mr. Logue or Ms. Omana, but thank you. And on the first one, I don't know if Ms. Omana really hit it. Kind of a concern there is that you have this incident, and we're all, after the fact, kind of wondering what the officers were thinking. And it's kind of a similar issue with Stickergate, is we had people that weren't interviewed. That one IA sergeant, he didn't get called in for an interview. He didn't have to answer any questions. Your ombuds didn't get to ask him any questions. He was just given he was given the luxury of writing his own statement with no questions. And so we don't know what his thought processes were. We don't really know fully what that interaction was out at the fuel pumps. On the collision, we don't know what was going through the mind of the officer and the reserve officer in that first car. We kind of have the statement of him telling the reserve officer to make a U-turn on the freeway. We don't know what the thought processes were there. And so I would love to know. I would love to have them, not that I want more people brought into IA and interviewed, but I would love for them to be able to speak to that, because they're kind of being criticized after the fact, and it was a mistake, but.
So that decision-making model
Yeah.
that was suggested might be
Right.
super helpful for
Yeah.
that.
And pursuits, gosh, they are, they're tough, because they are such a high liability, and we don't get involved in them very often, which I think, we've all kind of agreed is a good thing. But when we do get involved in them, man, we gotta, I learned how to be really good at pursuits from being involved in pursuits, which is not a good way to learn how to be good at pursuits, right? I mean, so yeah, we, the Guild, have been harping on more training for pursuits and actually keeping our pursuit policy kind of more restrictive, because, we don't want situations like this. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Detective Duncan. Oh, actually, while you're here, any other questions for Detective Duncan? All right, appreciate it. I think we should just give
We have
you
a really good drone policy. I think probably the ombuds could get that for you to
Oh,
review.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. I was just curious about that.
Yeah, and a lot of our pursuit policy, I think we're pretty conservative in those things, came out of concerns from the community and city council about privacy issues and things. So
Yeah.
that is, and I do know that the drone, I said pursuit right now, I meant drone. The drone operators do complete some type of an after-action report, just similar to what our canine officers do. Anytime the canines are deployed, even if they don't contact somebody, they're still documenting why they deployed them. And so it's a good stat-keeping thing. So there is that documentation on the drones. Yeah.
I just thought of something, not about drones, but AI and police
You just took the
reports.
words right out of my mouth.
Okay.
I was about to talk about that, too.
Good, okay.
Yeah, the city is working on a draft artificial intelligence policy. We, right now, within SPD, kind of have a standing edict of you're not to use artificial intelligence to complete any reports, which I'm concerned that they had to actually make that statement. I'm like, did somebody do that? I sure hope not. But our body cameras, which Axon is the company that runs them, does have a feature called Draft One, I think is what it is. So it might be an interesting thing to Google because you'll see two very different opinions on Draft One. It's an extra fee for us to turn on that service, which the city doesn't have the money right now. But what it does is it reviews your body camera video, and then it writes your report for you. It's kind of an AI-generated report based on what it has, sees in your video. And it's like, okay. There's some departments, I think, in Colorado that are using it, and the officers seem to absolutely love it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it'd be a great time saver. But then I've also seen other police accountability groups, I think it was out of Chicago, that had some very strong concerns about, is this going to further exacerbate implicit bias and things like that. So it's an interesting thing to look into. I filed a demand to bargain with the city to tell them, do not do this without talking to me first, because I have concerns. Mine may not be the same as yours, but I'm sure there is some overlap. I'm concerned about the quality of the report. If officers are using this kind of AI-generated report, that they're not going back and really, really double-checking to make sure things are correct, that's concerning. And then also, if you can get your reports done really fast, that means you get to go to more calls. And that's more really bad things that officers get to see every day, which I'm not excited about that. So sometimes I like it that it takes an hour or two or longer to write a report, gives you a break from all the trauma that's out there. Yeah. But yeah, they're working on a draft policy, and currently we don't use anything, at least not to my knowledge, yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
When you're considering that policy, you might consider it from a judge or defense lawyer or a jury's point of view, is how is somebody supposed to cross-examine the AI report? Because that's not going to fly.
No. And I don't know what these agencies in Colorado do, but it would be, you would have to put some type of a statement in there that, I used Draft One, I reviewed this, I went back through and corrected any, errors, or I forget what the term is that AI does. It kind of falsely creates things sometimes. It's very, I'm not a huge fan. But the interesting thing is, apparently with this Draft One program, is it will prompt the officer with questions. So it has the potential, at least the way they're advertising it, of course they want to make money, they want us to buy it, is that it would create a better report. But yeah, things to definitely kind of take slowly. I would imagine you probably feel the same way.
Yeah, it feels like civil rights issues might come up with that, so.
Yeah, you want reports to be accurate. This has the potential of, I think, making reports, much more thorough and accurate, but there is that concern there that I think we all share.
AI has chosen, the wrong face and the wrong, there's a lot of issues with that, and so, yeah, I hope that, I just hope that it's very thoroughly kind of studied before forced upon law enforcement.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously hard selling you on it. you know?
Right. And we're, I don't believe there's any plan to have it anytime soon, but it's definitely something that the city, at least, so is taking a proactive approach to having an artificial intelligence policy.
I don't know. I do. It's hard. I'm wondering what the teachers think here, because, having to respond, having to, make sure you're doing the physical things of a job, and then on top of that, like writing the reports, those reports, they take a while. And how accurate are they with the human element in the first place? Especially
true. Good point.
the Let's Go Brandon guy. So I don't know. But I do appreciate you chatting about that. And I don't know if there's any more questions for Detective Duncan. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I want to move us along, y'all. So we heard the closing reports and the recommendations, and I'm looking for a motion to approve the recommendations.
Okay. I'll make a motion that for A23-047, there are 5 recommendations, 24-5, 24-6, 24-7, 24-8, and 24-9. And then for closing report C23-070, there are 4 recommendations of 24-1, 24-2, 24-3, 24-4, and make a motion that they're approved.
All right, is there a motion second?
I'll second that.
All right, there's a second. Okay, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that passes unanimously. Okay, so outside legal counsel and subcommittee, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little sad. I do like you coming to the meetings. I understand where you're coming from, but Christina, do you want to take that over?
Sure. So we sent out an ad to get an outside legal counsel, again, for the OPOC, and we've gotten 4 responses.
Awesome.
Which is awesome. And now it's going to be time to create a subcommittee of 2 commissioners, because again, per OPMA, you cannot be doing business together. So we need 2 commissioners who will go through those applications and pick out the few that you would like to interview at the next meeting in September.
I'd be glad to, sure.
Okay, Mr. Wetzel volunteers as tribute. Okay, and one more,
I'll do it.
Ms.
I
Rose.
would like to do it.
All right. So we have Ms. Rose and Mr. Wetzel. I will put you down for a subcommittee, and I will make sure that you have those applications and resumes before the end of the night.
So clarification.
Yes.
At the September meeting, are we bringing forward who we recommend?
I believe that's, yeah, how it will work is
Okay.
you'll talk to the few candidates that you
Right.
have, and then the one that you would like to go with can come before the OPOC meeting to have a public interview.
Okay. It's
You
just
know,
been,
I think we have a good subcommittee, chiefly because of your background, but also importantly, some of the issues we've had with
yes.
prior.
Exactly.
So you'll be up on those.
Not Tim.
No, yeah.
Not Tim, no issues.
No, yeah.
I'll just say it right out loud.
Clarification, yeah. Thank you.
But yes, yeah, that'll be good. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Tim, I'm telling you, you're gonna miss us. It's gonna be Tuesday. It's gonna be like,
Tuning in to Channel 5.
He can always go home and turn the TV on.
I can critique from home.
I look
Are we
forward
going to
your
get
notes.
letters from you?
all right, we're gonna move to Commissioner Speak Out. So do any of the commissioners have anything they want to share?
Not I, thank you.
All right.
It's good to be back. I'm going to confess in front of everybody. I love Police Night Out, or whatever the official name is. I love that night.
National Night Out.
National Night Out. I had it all set. I actually put it in my calendar almost a year ago. What I didn't do is I put it on the wrong date. So so it happened the night before, on Tuesday night. I had it written for Wednesday night. I was going to go to one of my neighbor's house. Great. He does a great job. He brings in community members and policing. And I was all set to go. And he calls me and he says, Jenny, I'm so surprised I did not see you here last night. And I was like, what? Last night? And then I was like, oh, well, actually, I was going to go tonight, but I guess I missed it. So I am so sorry I missed that. I just love that. Just love it. So that's my true confessions for tonight. But I would like welcome to the new 2 commissioners. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that we have a full commission. And feel free to ask questions for any of us. Ms. Louie May, Ms. Christine, all excellent, really excellent. And then I would suggest, which you probably already have done, make appointments with either of these 3 fine people and get more information. But I'm sure Commissioner Smith and Commissioner Jasmine are going to agree, you can do this for years and years, and you still are learning. It's still really a learning experience. So, thank you.
I would like to give a shout out to Christina Cody for a couple of things. Number one, spending the entire day at Unity in the community park, staffing the Buds table. Thank you for doing that. And also thank you and Olivia May and Bart for the new logo and all that went into that. It looks sharp.
It does. It's official. Amy, you got anything?
Yeah, so I have gone on 3 ride-alongs now, and so I just, I wanted to, I'll just say to the world that I owe a commendation letter, but I was waiting for the new chief to come on so that it could go to this officer's new boss. So, and then the only other thing that I have is, has been, we clarified, we did that. Yeah, no, I think I'm good. I've been reading a lot about, well, just going through these reports is hard sometimes with when you get so many like officers involved in one situation. And so, yeah, I guess I do worry a little about the culture piece because there were so many officers involved. It made it hard to even read. But that being said, I think it's great that the person is no longer with the Spokane Police Department. I didn't know that before, and so I do want to say that I'm super glad that they're not there anymore. But again, you know, I worry about a culture that condones that. So, but overall, at the same time, like my experiences on these ride-alongs have been really enlightening, and so I plan to go on more. Watch out, Spokane. But it's, yeah, it's been a really great process learning about the process and all this, reading the report so closely, you're able to really kind of see what's going on. So I really, have enjoyed my beginning part of being on this commission, and I finally felt tonight like I could actually share a few things. So I guess, and my first time meeting Jenny, and I think I met you before, Mr. Wetzel before, but so I feel good with the full commission too, because it's nice to see all your faces, and that's it. That's all I have.
So you've been averaging a ride-along once a month since you've been on the commission.
It's awesome.
I mean, how are you supposed to oversee something if you're not involved with it? So I'm planning on going on a lot of ride-alongs, at least in the beginning, so that I can learn. I mean, I'm not trying to, oversee something from a place of ignorance.
I love that.
That's a good point. So I'm looking at these.
Yes.
Did you make these?
So we worked with a company. The company created our logo, and we worked as a team to come up with some new handouts. And
So just one little thing.
okay,
When you look at it like this, when you look at it like this, it's hard to distinguish what you're looking at. Now, if you change the colors, I'm just going to say, if each of these were a different color, especially these two, I had to really look to see what the difference was. I thought they were the same. I'm just saying it would be nice to have 4 different colors on these, and maybe you've heard that before.
no, Livy May and I actually were talking about that today.
Yeah.
Specifically, and at Unity in the community, having them all together. It
Right.
definitely is hard to differentiate.
And I love that we did the Children of the Sun right here, so that was awesome. So thank you. They're great. I mean, we've been waiting for these for years, so I just absolutely love it. I just wish they were 4 different colors, so, and define these two a little bit more, because there's just a couple of things that are different. Well, there's a lot that's different, but you would never know.
Yes.
So, thank you.
I appreciate that. Okay. We're going to go to executive session to do an employee performance appraisal review. Right now, it's 6:35. What are we thinking?
6:45, 6:50? We can always come back early, can't we?
Yes, you
We can always come back early. So 6:50?
All right, so we'll go to 6:50. And we started oh, don't do it now, right? Is it when we cut? We'll go to executive session at 6:36. We'll be back by 6:50. All right, so we're getting settled in. Hopefully that wasn't too bad for you, Louis May. And we're moving now to 6:48. We are going to adjourn the meeting. And then the next OPOC meeting will be held on September 17th, 2024. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, OPO. Thank you, Detective Duncan. And up there, appreciate you. All right, y'all. We're done.
Thank you.